our world business news, the European Central Bank today raised its interest rates for the second time this year. The main refinancing rate was raised 25 basis points and now stands at 1.5%. The ECB is fighting a war on two fronts. On the one hand, it wants to cool inflation. On the other, it knows that increasing the Eurozone's borrowing costs could do more harm than good in debt-laden countries like Greece, Portugal and Ireland. All three received EU and IMF bailouts, and investors fear Spain and Italy could be the next in line to hold out their hands. Now, Euronext shareholders are scheduled to vote today on the company's $9.3 billion takeover by Germany's Deutsche Börse AG, a deal that would create the world's largest exchange operator. Now, Euronext is merging with Deutsche Börse in an effort to expand revenues from derivatives such as options and interest rate swaps, because they offer a higher profit margin. The New York-based company needs owners of half its stock to approve the plan, which was announced in February amid a global wave of mergers and acquisitions among stock exchanges. The all-stock transaction would give Frankfurt-based Deutsche Börse 60% of the combined entity, while NYSE Euronext CEO Duncan Niederauer will run the organization. NYSE shareholders are expected to say yes to the merger with Deutsche Börse. I'm glad to have Bruce Powers here with me today. Not only is he head of research at Trust Securities, but also an American. Welcome, Bruce.
Thank you.
Now, how does it feel? The Americans are taking over, the Germans are taking over the Americans. And I think it's a good coincidence that you're sitting here today as I'm German and you're American.
Very interesting. Yeah, at first I was a little upset when I heard about it back in February or January, but I guess I've adjusted a little bit to the idea. They tried to do this a couple times before and they failed. So this, I think, is the third attempt. The New York Stock Exchange used to be a major icon. It's diminished over the years. Their trading volume has gone down. The amount of trades that happen on their exchange has declined significantly. It used to be up in the 80% of New York Stock Exchange traded stocks would trade through the New York Stock Exchange. Now it's down to 35%. So from their perspective, they need to do something to remain competitive and to grow. So I think this is going to be a positive overall. But it'll still be called the New York Stock Exchange.
I wonder if they will have bratwurst, German bratwurst in their canteen. Anyway, tell me, why is it positive for a shareholder to say yes to the merger, and why are there maybe some negative aspects?
Well, I think there's probably more positives than negatives. From your perspective, being German, the negatives might be some loss of jobs. There's also a question whether they'll be able to get the synergies that they're looking for. They expect to cut costs by $715 million over 3 years. It's possible they may not be able to do that. On the positive side, they'll be creating the largest derivative options and stock exchange in the world. As you mentioned, derivatives is the higher profit margin area of the exchange business and the fastest growing. This combination will give them about 93% of derivative trading in Europe. So they'll be a real force to reckon with and allow them to compete with alternative trading platforms that are growing and very aggressively, as well as other international exchanges as they look to grow and expand. So this puts them in a prime position for the future, I think.
Although there might still be one obstacle, and that would be the regulators.
Well, particularly in Germany.
They might not approve the deal.
That's
exactly.
true.
Okay, thanks, Bruce. Have a good weekend.
Thanks
for coming in. And some more international business news. The International Monetary Fund's new managing director, Christine Lagarde, appears ready to make good on a promise to embrace diversity at the fund. Sources say Christine Lagarde is considering the appointment of a former deputy governor of the People's Bank of China to a newly created IMF deputy managing director post. Also, Lagarde laid out her vision in her first news conference since taking on the job.
Diversity is multifaceted. It's not just about gender, color, religion, sexual preferences, but it's also about culture. It's also about academic background. And I think that we need to draw on the resources and the intellect developed in many corners of the world, because that will make us better and richer.
Meanwhile, China yesterday again raised its interest rates to tame inflation. It is the fifth time in 8 months the Chinese central bank tightened its monetary policy, despite recent data showing that the Chinese economy's growth dynamic is losing momentum. Benchmark one-year lending rates will today be increased 25 basis points to 6.56%. Free video chatting is coming to Facebook. The company will integrate Skype into its social networking service, opening up its 750 million users to the video conferencing company. Adding the ability to speak to Facebook friends without switching to a different program is a benefit, experts say, and also seems to become a trend. The deal comes just a week after rival Google unveiled Google+, which allows up to 10 people to participate in a video call. The move also closer aligns Facebook to Microsoft, which owns a small share of Facebook and is in the process of buying Skype to beef up its web offerings. Facebook also unveiled a new group messaging function building on its existing one-to-one text chat. Before we go, here's a quick overview of the Asian equity indices as well as the oil and currency markets, and after that we have Laura Buckwell for you.